However you feel, is terrorism threats on the rise? Is it status? What's happening in this country? I'm just curious.
Yes, sir. That's a very good question. I think what we have seen since 9/11, a continued threat within the country that has been primarily executed by individuals who have been inspired by the rhetoric of the jihadists to conduct acts within the country. Fortunately, we have been able to thwart most of them. Some of them just simply failed because they weren't very well executed. The Bureau has a very extensive program trying to detect this. Could something happen from overseas again? Yes, that's always a possibility, but that's a major effort that,
Well, again,
we and other departments are working on.
Are the attacks on the rise? Threats, I said. The threats of attack on the rise?
The threats of attack on the rise. The threat and capability, because aspirational threats
should be just a yes or no, isn't it a yes or no?
And there's something every day. Threat and capability matched with one another.
Are threats on the rise?
I think at this point are not on the rise.
Okay, that's fine.
Are not on the rise.
What is their objective? Is it just to have access? Or are they trying to just blow up a facility? What is the threat that you're hearing? What are they trying to accomplish?
So there's the local objective and there's the broader objective, and they think in both of these realms. The local objective is to have an event that is sufficiently newsworthy, sufficiently damaging, that it causes people to take notice of it and gives them credit for the ability to actually execute. So the broader issue, though, is to destroy, and bin Laden and his successors have been very clear about this, is to destroy the will of the West and the will of the United States to oppose them and withdraw from the region.
If I could continue with the question. Can you give me an example of a chemical facility that has been attacked successfully in the West?
No, sir. Unless you want to include the Aminas plant in Algeria, which is the one recent one that we have.
That's fair.
But other than that, I can't tell you.
Do we, if it's one thing, if they want to disrupt it, would we not pose a threat also in where the products that we're producing in these chemical plants, does it extend your risk assessment and valuation? Does that also go to the distribution centers and transportation, or is it just at the plant?
It's in all of those, sir, depending upon the holdings. Where the holdings are.
So you go the whole route. It's you're not just on risk assessment.
If the holding isn't large enough to be tiered in by the consequence, then they're not regulated. But we do look at distribution centers as well. David, you want to?
But CFATS focuses on facilities. So there are other agencies that deal with the transportation sector. So the transportation of hazardous materials is covered by the Department of Transportation, Transportation Security Administration. CFATS is focused on facilities, but certainly including distribution centers. And among the chemicals of interest that we assess are those chemicals that could be successfully used by terrorists in an attack, as well as chemicals that could be released.
The time frame that I have left, are the four other European nations, do they have something comparable to what we're doing here?
I think in many ways we are on the cutting edge here, and I think CFATS is a sound program and really a model that, were it implemented elsewhere, could be of value to securing chemical facilities and hardening them against potential terrorist attacks.
Okay, time's expired on that, but I'm just saying, even though they've never had an attack in Europe, they have not had an attack in Europe, and they don't have anything comparable to this. I'm just curious.
I think Congress's assessment and our assessment as well is that high-risk chemical facilities pose a very attractive target to terrorists.
Thank you.
Gentleman's time has expired. Chair, now recognize the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Johnson, for 5 minutes.